Next guest is a former child actress and an acting coach who is now guiding people on breaking into the acting industry. Please welcome to the studio, Cynthia Smith.
Wow, thank you for that introduction. And it's great to be here, Sam.
Oh, I'm so happy
I'm so happy you're here too. We've known each other for quite a while.
We have.
So it's great to be here.
We have.
Thanks for asking me on the show.
Oh my God. Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Wonderful.
I'm excited. So just for the audience to get to know you a little bit more, I've known Cynthia for many years now, and I first met you when I was living in Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
And I came across your acting class, and I
Yes.
just thought you were fabulous.
Well, thank you. That's very nice of you.
I mean, of course, I thought you were fabulous. And not only that, but I really connected with your energy right away.
Yes, we did have that.
We
It
had
was like we've known each other in a past life or something.
That's how
Seriously.
I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's really weird.
it was.
I don't really have that happen too often, so it's kind of felt like I've known her forever.
No, but it was like cool. It was like one of those like really cool moments when you first meet somebody and you're like, oh, this feels fun.
Yeah, it was. It
Yeah.
was like that.
Oh, so I'm really excited. The reason why I wanted you to be on the show, not only because you're a great acting coach, but also because I get asked all the time by people who, they know that I work in production,
Right.
doing what I do. So they ask me all the time, how can they or someone that they know break into the industry, and how they can get their kids involved, and most importantly, what do they need to know before they take the first step. So we're going to dive into all of that throughout the show. Cynthia is here to uncover all of the myths and need-to-knows and scams and everything that really covers the whole span of the industry. First, let's start with you, Cynthia. I want to talk a little bit about, or I want you to talk about, your background and how you got into the industry.
Well, I started off as a dancer. My mom put me in dancing school at a very young age, and I was a dancer. And a girl in my class, in my ballet class, was doing commercials. And she came to class one day and said, I got a Polaroid commercial. And I was like, I want to do that. So I went home and I talked to my mother about it, and my mom talked to her mom. Then a couple weeks I was in New York City, got the manager, with the help of that friend, by the way, and was on my way. Started auditioning and got the second commercial I ever auditioned for, and it was just pretty much, I worked constantly since then. So I was very lucky. I was very blessed, fortunate with getting work.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of a short story, but
so it was like the universe had told you in a way. I always look at things in this type of way, like the universe is speaking to me. When you're really meant to do something, the universe will speak to you right away.
I kind of have
say
that
to
belief
you,
too.
hey, you're on the right track, keep going, and we're going to give you like a present. So that commercial, you just started out, and it was like
that was like my first acting lesson. Actually, was my first audition. I went and I just blew it because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to do. And then the second audition I got, I knew what to do, and I actually got the job, which was amazing because I was like, oh, because the first one, no one would hire me. I was like a deer in the headlights. Like I didn't know what to do, say. It was really funny, but I learned real quick, and so that was kind of like my first acting lesson. Was the first audition, and then I kind of unfolded ever since after that. I was very fortunate with getting work. Mm-hmm.
What was that project?
That commercial, my very first commercial in life, was for Crest Gel toothpaste. For Benton and Bowles.
Oh my God.
Yes.
What did you have to do?
I had a mother and a brother, and I was the daughter, and we were all in front of a sink discussing our toothpaste needs.
Oh
I mean,
gosh.
doesn't every family do that? Sit in front of the... I mean, honestly, right? No, I don't think so. It was, it's a commercial. Commercials are usually, so
yeah. But this was not your first commercial.
This was my very first.
This was your first one, okay.
Right? Yeah.
And then, but you've done other commercials after that.
Oh, of course. No, I did them all I was maybe six years of age when I started, and I did them all into my teenage years until I decided I wanted to be a regular high school kid. And it's kind of a lot of demands on a kid, you know. I had to classes after classes, and I didn't have time for friends. I was always auditioning, being yanked out of school, being driven into the city, auditioning. I had acting lessons, singing lessons. I had, once again, auditioning. I keep repeating that because that's basically, you know, your life when you're a kid. You're just yanked out at any moment to audition. So,
right.
Yeah.
So you went back to being a normal high school kid,
right?
And then you somehow found your way back into the industry.
Well, I kind of didn't want to get back into the. Well, I was taking acting lessons and things to keep it fresh because I always wanted to, in case you know something were to come up, to be ready, be prepared.
Yeah.
So to
always
speak.
be ready.
Yes, ready. So
that's what improv will teach you.
Right. Yeah, actually. Does. But so I did that, and then I actually graduated high school and got a job behind the scenes at Warner Brothers Television. I had the opportunity, was blessed with such an opportunity to work on a show called Growing Pains. It was a hit series in the 80s, and it was a wonderful experience.
A show called Growing Pains.
Yeah.
I remember it as being the show, you know, in its time. It was
just
like
a little
the
show.
Only show to watch, you know, back then.
It was a really great show.
Yeah.
Really family oriented, and it was just such a fun project. Great people. Still have friendships from that show to this day. It was an amazing experience.
Wow.
And I was very fortunate to have someone give me an opportunity to work there.
Yeah.
So that kind of broke me into behind the scenes, but I still continued acting. I got my agent because I was living in New York when I was a child. When I grew up, I moved to California. At that time, I got an agent in Los Angeles for commercials as well because that was what I was best at. I very thrived with that. So.
And I'm glad you brought this up.
Mm-hmm.
You just mentioned the commercials were what you were best at. So how did you figure out, and who might have guided you? What was the way you figured out that you were good at commercials?
Well, the fact that I got my second audition ever proved that to me. And then when I auditioned for my very third commercial, I got that one too. So out of my first 3 auditions in life professionally, I got the job. 2 times out of the 3.
Yeah.
So I just kind of went with that, and my agent was real comfortable watching that success in me to just push me in that direction because there's a lot of you could do a lot of things from commercials, and there's a lot of money to be made in commercials.
Yeah.
And you're not the star of a show, which sometimes goes south and it gets canceled and people don't want to hire you again because you're too popular. So it's kind of a nice way to stay mainstream and continue working. Because sometimes when people get, you know, if you see people from shows in the past, they don't work anymore, which is kind of sad. I have child stars that happens to, and this is kind of a way where you can continue working because you're not in the limelight.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of fortunate with that too, in a sense. Even though I wanted to be famous, I did, but it really worked out well for me that way.
Do you think knowing as many other child stars or actors that you know and have come across and worked with, did they set out when they first start out in acting wanting to be famous, or what is it really about for them? What's their motive?
Combination. Some people want it, but I think a lot of some of the people that I know kind of fell into it almost accidentally. They were picked up off the street, or they were, told by a friend, like, oh, your kid has a great look, you should put him in show business, and they would, they would just give it a shot, and they actually did well. It wasn't something planned. And then I have friends who actually did what I did, went to the schools and dancing and singing and acting, did the whole spiel, and they got work because they worked hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they showed up time and time after again, and they say.
What do you mean showed up? In what sense do you mean that?
I guess in my mind, I don't know where I first started believing in this. Maybe I had heard it from another acting coach, and somewhere, or but it's something I always stick with in my head. It's just show up, even if I'm scared of going on an audition or starting a new project or meeting this new person or whatever it is. It's we all, I think, go through those anxious feelings before
Yeah.
starting something new.
That's normal.
And
that's very normal.
But it's like pushing through that fear and just telling yourself, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't predict that, but if I just show up, then that's the best I can do.
That's a great attitude to have. Showing up is great, but there are some people that are just not cut out for this.
Yeah.
And they can show up all they want. And they're not going to thrive. But you have the personality that shows up.
Time to get real with Cynthia Smith.
You have the personality that you could show up and you could light up a whole room. She lights up a room, let's face it. So that's different. But a lot of people are not as fortunate. Some people can want to be an actor and they just can't. There's other things you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not right for everyone. It's not. You have to really want it, and you really have to be willing to just put it all on the line. Just be brave to put it all on the line.
Yeah.
Performance-wise.
I met, a couple years ago, one of the biggest casting directors in all of the Southeast, Craig Fincannon.
Oh.
From the Fincannon.
Nice. Okay.
Brothers. Yeah. And
how'd that go? I didn't know about that. You didn't tell me.
Yeah, I didn't tell you about that. It was just, interesting story. So I was living in Charlotte at the time, working with my media company, and I actually skipped out on work one day, and I had set up a meeting with Craig Fincannon. Somehow I just like emailed their office, and they agreed to meet with me. I sent over my, my acting experience and work, and I had found out somehow, I think through a friend, that they accepted meetings with people, with actors and people in the industry.
General meetings, right?
Yeah, general meetings in the industry, to meet with the Fincannons. Yes,
that's
so
wonderful.
I thought, you know what, I'm so close. I'm here. Like, oh, that would be so great to just meet him. Yes.
Wonderful. She always gets in. That's good.
So I drove 3.5 hours, skipped out on what I had to do that day for work, and I met with Craig Fincannon, and I'll never forget. It was the greatest, hour and a half that I spent with him.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I feel so honored to have been able to share that time, that day out of his day, an hour and a half to just pick his brain a little bit and discuss.
Absolutely.
My goals, number one, and also the industry, any advice and guidance that he had for someone like me. I've worked on, some commercials and projects and so forth, but by no means am I like Angelina Jolie. So it's like you want to get as much insight as you can from someone like him. So
absolutely.
It was a great thing. So anyway, I'll never forget. We were just talking about something, and he said, the biggest thing for people to understand and to remember is to not quit their day job.
Definitely don't.
Because acting is, he just made it sound like it's a struggle, and don't quit your day job before you land, something big.
Yeah.
And he wasn't like shooting down anybody's dreams, but it was just, I think, very valuable advice.
It is very valuable advice.
Just to know the reality of the industry.
Yeah, it's very, very valuable advice for people. Some people do quit their day jobs.
Yeah.
And I even had a friend as a child who was starring on a television show called Rags to Riches. And I really shouldn't be saying that, but they had an issue of where the whole family quit the job.
Oh no!
Which was, it's great while it lasts, but then when the show's over,
why did the whole family quit their job?
Well,
just because one person was on the show.
This girl was very successful, doing amazingly well, and they weren't experienced. I don't think they meant anything bad by it, but it was almost like, wow, this is our future, and it's not your future. So you should never quit your day job. Always keep. Whether you're the parents in the business, guiding a child who's extremely successful, keep, everything in check, because there is that time where you might not have that series anymore, and, you have to always have stuff to fall back on. You can't depend on it. It may not last. It may, but it usually doesn't. So you have to be, and some people are not realistic about that, and they think because their child's doing so well that the whole family can just take vacation. And when the series gets canceled, they learn very quickly that that wasn't the best idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? This is very I think this is good for people to hear.
Yeah.
Because for someone who's just walking into the industry,
Mm-hmm.
and then a lot of big things might be happening very quickly for them.
Right.
It leads
It's a
to
whirlwind. It's a
making,
whirlwind.
you know, drastic and impulsive decisions. When
Yeah.
if they're not the right person is guiding you, then you could make some serious mistakes.
Yeah, because you get caught up in the whirlwind. It's because it is. It takes you, if you start to become very successful, you're treated very, very, very well everywhere you go. So it really becomes deceiving, you know, when that series is canceled or you don't get the next job, or
Speaking
it's like
of
all of a sudden.
Speaking of that, I'll
Yes.
tell you my 15 minutes of fame. I was in a Volvo commercial, actually just recently.
Volvo.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had a couple of lines, and I play a mom with 2 kids. I've got a stroller, and they're basically trying to convince me to switch over from my Mercedes to a Volvo. So I have a couple of lines, and I'm, you know, so it was really the first big project for me, I suppose, because I've done other things, but something just felt different for this. I think it's because I had multiple lines, and which they ended up cutting down.
Do that a lot.
They ended up cutting down to 1 line, by the way, but
they-
I originally had multiple ones, just FYI.
They do that a lot. They do cut lines.
Yeah.
Even in movies. I did a movie and they cut my whole thing out. So I know what that's like.
Oh my god.
It's devastating.
Yeah, it's like, it is, but at least you get one.
It's experience though. It's school, you know?
It is.
Every job you're on is like you're at school.
It is. It's like being paid to go to film school.
Absolutely, and you take something with you from every experience, so it's all worth it in the end.
Very true.
It is. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just like I'll never forget, because I as soon as I stepped out of my car and onto the set,
Right.
people were, you know, taking my hand and carrying my bags for me. They're like, "Oh, are you Samantha?"
Mhm.
And like, it was like being a queen had just stepped onto the set, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like royalty treatment. I could get used to this."
Yeah, well, imagine those
And
kids that really make it.
everywhere
How they
you
get
go.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, they're like,
Everywhere.
"Where's Samantha? Where's Samantha? Oh, are you da 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 da? Oh, they're here. Oh." And it's like they just completely
Crazy.
dote on you
Oh,
throughout
absolutely.
lunch, you know, during the the waiting periods. It was like it was a step up, and I thought, oh wow, I could really get used to this. But yeah, going back to what you were saying, if you do get too used to it, it could, cause.
You have to be just realistic. Keep your head on feet on the ground. Just keep, centered, and don't think that it's going to last forever. Even though if it does, good for you. But if it doesn't, you're prepared. You're not caught up. And a lot of families have gotten in trouble that way. Mm-hmm. And actors and actresses. So that's why some of them, you hear, they've blown all their money. They don't, it's because they don't understand that it's not going to last forever. You have to prepare. You have to learn how to plan your future, just like in any job. Actually, it's not just this business, and with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about misconceptions of the industry.
Okay.
Because what we're talking about now is, I think, sort of leading into that a little bit.
Okay.
So for our audience listening in who might be interested in stepping into the industry, but they're not really quite sure if it might be right for them. People have told them that they should, go for it. Maybe they have an inkling to do it, but they're not really sure if it's for them. What would you say to those people?
Well, you have to be sure if it's something that you want to pursue, first of all. And if you have a child that you're trying to break into the business, if it's not someone as an adult, if it's a child, the parent you have to make a commitment. I mean, there has to be a commitment to, on the spot, being able to take this child in on auditions on this, you're going to get called 2 hours before. It's very rare when you have a few days notice. Sometimes these days, they also have the email auditions in. Things have changed a lot since they have email auditions now where you can send in your videos and stuff. But if it's, when I was young, I had to get yanked out of school, and it's just, but you still have to make a commitment, whether you're the adult or the child. Everyone involved has to want it to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think it, maybe, or part-time, or it's just, probably not what's going to work out. Yeah.
Do you think have you seen a lot of those stage moms who are pushing their kids maybe harder than the kid is actually pushing
Absolutely. Absolutely. You come across that all the time. It's almost like the parents didn't succeed in the business when they were young, so they want to see their baby do what they didn't do. And it's kind of sad, because sometimes the kid is just like a rag doll going along with what the mom or dad wants.
Yeah, because it's all about the child.
Absolutely.
And if he's not bringing the energy, then you're just wasting your time.
Yeah, but some of these kids are forced into it. That's nothing new. I mean, that's used to happen back when I was a kid too. But it's still, parents' broken dreams want to relive their youth through their child, and they want their child to do what they never did. It's a common story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear some stories about kids who are trying to break into the industry, who are falling, and their parents actually are the ones who are signing them up for these things, these seminars and these conferences. They're falling for these scams. So what are some of the types of scams that you've heard about, and what should people be aware of and wary of?
Well, this is a sad situation that the acting business, the acting world, wanting to be famous, wanting to be a star, wanting to have a show or TV show or whatever. It's very, very, people are dreaming about this. And there's jerks out there banking on, taking advantage of people's hopes and dreams, making them pay to be represented. You should not have to pay anyone. That's rule number one. Don't pay anybody to represent you. If they like you, you work with them. They might have a photographer they might want you to work with, but I'm leery of, because places take advantage of the picture situation too. But the real agencies that are legitimate will also want you to get pictures done, so that's not uncommon. So you have to kind of learn how to decipher from who's trying to get money out of you and who's not. That's very difficult to do.
Okay, so yeah, let's go back. At what point would, say, an actor start paying an agent or someone? What would be the first point that they do that? Okay,
paying an agent, you should never have to pay your agent or your manager. What you do is when you get work, a manager is different. I'm sorry, I take that back. An agent. Manager is a different story. They have different relationships with different managers, different contracts, there's different things. But when you have an agent, it pretty much goes like this. When you get a job, you make money, they get a percentage. That's it. 10% usually. Actually, I think agents, 10%.
Yeah, and even then, sometimes it takes 2 to 3 months to even get paid.
Oh, yeah.
From them. Some people, they expect, in 2 weeks, which sometimes that's the case, but it can take, months sometimes for people
but you don't
to receive a check.
But you don't pay an agent to represent you.
No.
Don't ever pay an agent to represent you. If they want to work with you, you pay them out of your earnings. Well, it's automatic. It works out. Its contracts are written.
Now, what about the types of agents out there, or companies, I should say, out there, who are trying to take you under their wing, but they're saying, hey, because I've heard of these. People have told me that there are these companies out there that will promote their business, and they'll say, we'll get you into this commercial and this TV show, and we're doing auditions for this, and that. And then they get you there, and then they tell you all the good stuff, and then drop the bomb on you and say, yes, now we need pictures of you to take with our photographer, and it's going to cost you this much money, plus this much money and this much money.
Run.
Okay.
Run away as fast as you can.
That's what I wanted everybody to hear, because there are so many of these places
there's
popping
millions of them.
From Orlando down to Miami, in every state that there's work, there's somebody who's promoting.
It's a huge business banking on people's dreams in this industry, and it's really sad. So definitely run from anything like that.
What about the websites?
Especially when they're making promises. When they make promises, there's never promises in this business.
Yeah, and
never.
And the same thing goes for for websites, because nowadays
Like, what do you mean?
there are so many websites out there like Backstage.com.
Oh, yeah.
Casting Frontier and so forth. And, all the good websites that you'll, need to know about. This is the way I've learned, at least. My
Right.
agent has always told me about. So,
Okay.
there's so many out there, especially now that there's just all this technology.
Yes.
It's
There's
crazy.
millions.
So don't be fooled by that as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that aren't
careful.
right either. No.
Yeah.
But one way, and this is a very good tip of advice for anybody who's looking for something want someone to represent you. You can call up the Screen Actors Guild, and you ask them to mail you or fax you or email you. I think they do it email now. Or I think it's even on their website. If you go to Screen Actors, I'm not sure if it's .org or the Screen Actors Guild. Just look up Screen Actors Guild,
Okay.
and you ask them to send you a list of legitimate agents who are legitimate and accepted by the union. Those agents are most likely, if they're on that list, they're okay, and that's the number one rule. If it's not on that list, I'm not saying that they're all bad, but I would like to stay on that list, because if you're really serious about it, stay on that list.
Good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good to know.
Yes.
So, I want to go back to how you broke into TV, and then, you broke into TV,
Yeah.
And working in production, then which also led you to the next phase where you worked for specific someone.
Are you talking about Imagine Films?
Yes.
Oh, Imagine Films Entertainment. Yeah, I worked for Ron Howard and Brian Grazer at Imagine Films Entertainment. I was also blessed with that opportunity to work with two amazing directors and producers. They're wonderful. And you might know Ron Howard from Happy Days. He plays Richie Cunningham. Brian Grazer you would not know, but he's his right-hand person, and they're just a fabulous team. They've done movies like Apollo 13, and they've done a lot of stuff. So they're with Tom Hanks. They've done movies with Michael J. Fox, For the Love of Money. They did Far and Away with Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, and they have the list goes on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even mention some of the best because they have amazing films there.
Yeah.
So I had I got to work with them, which is really exciting, and I learned so much from that company. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and how they audition people too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How do they audition people?
Well, this is different since they are an established movie company. Obviously, they bring people in for general meetings, but the people that they bring in are John Travolta, John Stamos, and they're sitting in the waiting room like the way we would at an audition.
Really?
So it was kind of fun to see that.
Squirm
To work for a
around
company
little
and watch these big actors squirm. Not squirm, but they're just
bit. Nervous, just like
exactly
any of us would be.
Right, because it's
Yeah.
a potential, they go in, they have a general interview, and then later on, if they get a script where they think the person's right, they'll call them back. So it's kind of it's an audition in a sense for a big star, and we had them all of the time. We had so many people come in and out those doors. So it was kind of a neat other angle on the audition process for the established actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any good stories from that?
Too
I'm
long
sure.
to tell. Another show. That's another show.
Yeah. Believe
Telling you, I do have a lot of funny stories with some encounters with my starstruck, people that I wanted to meet that came through those doors. I was just like,
Like who?
John Stamos.
Ooh.
I
Is he
was-
just as good looking in person
Oh,
as he looks like on a camera?
Beautiful. He's beautiful, and he was my teen idol. I grew up with him on my walls, and yeah, he was kind of important to me. So when I met him, I was a little excited. Yeah,
Oh my god.
he's great.
Speaking of John Stamos, I've never seen him in person.
Oh,
But
he's
it
gorgeous.
reminds me, I saw the Olsen twins.
Oh, you
in
did?
Yeah, in
Oh, how
New York.
fun.
Once I was in this really cool club on the Lower East Side, and I don't even know how I got there. It was like Fashion Week, and slipped in somehow this really cool party, and I look up, and we're in this upstairs
Right.
top area of the space,
Yeah.
and I look over, and right next to me was the Olsen twins, and I thought, oh my
Grown
god,
up, grown up though. Yeah.
grown up,
Yeah.
and yeah,
They're
I just want to
cute,
bring this
though.
up because I never get really starstruck by that many people. I mean,
Right.
it's like,
But
but
they
with
were
them,
they're huge.
they're huge.
They were huge.
And
Come on,
also-
you gotta give them credit. They
huge, and also now
huge, and they're
they're
an empire.
like
They're
you just
an
never
empire.
see them now. They're
No.
so just isolated from.
They have
The-
their business
yeah.
that they're doing, and they
I shouldn't say isolated, but they're
they've just
protected.
They just decided to stay off camera
Mm-hmm.
because they've done it since they were born, pretty much. So I guess they feel the need to just they just want to live a normal life now.
Yeah.
But they have built an empire, those two girls, and it's pretty extraordinary what they've achieved.
They're not
And
done
they're
yet. They
no,
just opened up a
they're not.
store, an Elizabeth and James store.
They're just
in
getting
LA.
started. Yeah.
their first store,
Yeah.
and it's just amazing because everything they seem to touch turns to gold.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're yeah.
I wonder what
gold
kind of powerhouse team they have behind them. I wonder how much is their team or how much is them. They seem pretty talented, though, business-wise.
I would think that they have to be extremely intelligent to have the success that they've had, along with the team that they probably hired. I don't know much about them, but I do know that they're very successful.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah.
Well, that could be you.
It could be anybody. It could be you.
It could be. Could be any of us.
Maybe.
So, what led you to becoming a coach yourself? Going from working in the industry and being an actor, going to being a coach?
Well, I've had so much training since I was young. I've studied with almost every teacher in New York and every teacher in LA of any, substance. My training has been very extensive, but that's not what got me into it. People would call me and just want to rehearse scenes for auditions, my friends and stuff, and they just thought I had a knack for it because they want critiques, and I really realized that all that acting training, even though I'm not the big star, I'd worked commercially great, but I actually it paid off because I'm very, very confident with how I teach.
Yeah.
And people are very pleased with how I teach, and you've taken it from me.
I do. And if there's one thing I can say, you tell it like it is.
Oh, I'm not nice.
And I love that.
I'm not nice. No, I'm nice. I'm just very, very blunt and upfront, and I get the truth there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not. I want the real deal coming out,
Yeah.
or I'm not going to accept it. Yeah.
You need somebody like that, like you, to tell you, no, I don't like that. Let's do that again, but try it like this next time. But somebody who's just not going to waste your time and just going to get right to it, not going to try to sugarcoat it and let's make this all soft and pretty. It's like just tell me how to get the best,
right,
the best I can be out of my craft.
Right. Yeah, and I kind of I don't really like to tell people how to do the scene,
Mm-hmm.
but I give them the tools and what they need to do and how to prepare. And when they bring it to me, I can critique on, if there's stronger choices and stronger things they could have brought to the table. Because the strongest choice is going to get you the job. So that's, about that. That's my main thing in class.
Make a strong choice. That's actually my favorite
That's my
exercise because I feel like when you taught me
Yes.
that, my other acting coaches who I had worked with before, either they didn't teach me that or it didn't resonate as much with me,
Right.
with them. So when you had introduced me to that concept of making stronger choices, something about the way you taught
Yeah.
me that, it just spoke to me, and I feel like it took my acting ability from this level up another step
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, because
it.
you can bring all the choices on the table to me that you want, but if it's not the strongest one, I'm not gonna. I need you to bring this one that's gonna get you noticed and the one that's gonna get you the job. So that's why I'm kind of a stickler with that because I was really tough on my students with that.
Yeah.
If you recall, I was even
Yes,
tough
I
on
do.
her. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, you learn
gotta
from
be
that.
honest.
Yeah, I'm definitely honest. It's not a problem.
So for people who may have never taken an acting class before, just to give them like a very brief idea of what we're talking about, like making a stronger choices, like setting an intention. How would you describe?
Well, there's a whole way you need to approach a scene, and each scene is different. But there's a way to approach a script, and there's a way to, attack it in the way that's going to get you most noticed. And that's what I try to bring to the table with my teachings. I try to bring all that out in people. And I think I've done very, very well from what my students tell me. So I'm excited about NYLA Actor Studio, which I just got my website up and we're ready to go. And I have a lot of people signing up and it's doing really well and people are very pleased with it. So yeah.
And you're doing client calls on Skype, right? Also?
Yes, I do client. Yes, I do classes via Skype, and I also do personal upon request. It depends. I don't just go to any stranger's house, but I, if I know someone, I will consider doing personal classes as well, depending on the situation. I'm not going to go to dark alleys or anything, though.
But I'll Skype you.
Oh yeah, it's great.
So people can be anywhere in the world, pretty much.
Yes, people can be taught from anywhere. Right. Yes. So if you're interested, it's the new way that people are teaching now too. It's kind of a newer form of.
I saw just the other day Serena Williams is even teaching people how to play tennis. She has a class where you can be a part of, and she'll teach you how to play tennis online. It's crazy.
So crazy. How do you? Oh wow.
I know.
Yeah.
So I know this is like the new way.
Yeah.
It makes it very convenient, because you can have access to such amazing, talented people like yourself from anywhere in the world.
That's neat, but because it really is. Because people will call me up like the day before. They get a script and they go, emergency, like an audition tomorrow.
I've done that to you.
You have, actually. She has, just recently, too. And it's great because they could be in LA, they could be in New York, they could be in Michigan or wherever they are, and they have access to a coach, which is great.
Yeah.
So, and I love being there for them.
It felt such a relief when I was able to call you. And you picked up, and I was like, I have an audition tomorrow, and I need to prepare for it, and I have, sides, which is, lines that they give you, and I had no time to prepare, and it was like, but this happens all the time, so it's nice to have, not only because you're my friend, but, as my coach,
right,
as anyone would have, just, it's nice to have that as a resource to be able to call, at a drop of a hat.
It's fun, too, it's really fun. It is fun. I have a lot of fun teaching people on camera. With Skype. Skype's great. I don't know. That's got to be one of the best inventions ever. I think. It's amazing. It's an amazing invention. It kind
of weirds me out a little bit.
Why?
Because I feel so uncomfortable. I'm not like a in-person kind of person.
Yeah, I am too, though.
But I have to get over that because here we are.
Technology.
This doesn't bother me at all. I guess it's more of like phone calls and Skype. I just maybe I don't use it enough, but it's super easy. Every time I get on there.
And what I love is you can also talk to anybody.
You can.
Anywhere.
Anytime I get on there, I'm
incredible.
like, oh my God, this is so cool. And
it's incredible. It really is. It's given me a great tool to help people with what they need to do. So I'm excited.
So what are some of your success stories of some of your coaching clients? I know, I can't remember the name, but the girl from our class, she was a lawyer and then she quit her job. She took your class. She felt so confident about, she had some opportunities, I guess, out in LA. And so she moved out to LA. How is she doing?
Katie Gente.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's one of my former students. She's doing wonderfully.
Yeah.
She went to LA and she's pursuing her dreams and she's doing all the right things. So we're just wishing her much success, and I'm sure we'll be seeing her soon. She was very talented.
Yes, she was.
She was very good. She came to me very talented.
She was. She had an interesting look. She had a good comedic ability.
Oh, wonderful.
About her. It was very natural.
Yeah, and she was so natural.
Yeah.
Like, she's just incredible.
Yeah, almost to the point where, like, I hated that about her. I was like, why does this girl have to be so good?
The green-eyed monster comes out. Yeah, I know. She's really, really good. She's good, yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
she's
Katie,
pursuing her dreams. Hi, Katie Gente. We love you. I miss you, too. I really do. She's on Facebook with me, so. yeah, keep in touch.
Cool.
Yeah.
Aww. Well, this has been so much fun. Real quick before we go, you have an event coming up.
Yes, we have
Tell us
an
about
event in Los Angeles. It's called Child Stars Then and Now, and it's a fundraiser. Basically, it's an organization called A Minor Consideration. You can go to the website. It's called aminorconsideration.org and find out details. You're going to meet child stars from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even some that are on the rise today. And it's this is an organization that was started by Paul Peterson, who started on the Donna Reed Show.
Oh, wow.
And he's handed it off to Scott Schwartz, who's now president of Minor Consideration, and we have a bunch.
Scott Schwartz. That sounds very familiar. Wait, how do I know that name?
You probably know him from, probably best from The Christmas Story. He's a Christmas
Who did
Story.
He play in The Christmas Story?
He played the little boy that gets his tongue stuck to the pole.
No way!
Yeah, yes. So he
is an icon.
He's doing very, very well, and he also did The Toy with Richard Pryor and Jackie Gleason, which that's my favorite of his films. I think he's fabulous in that. But he's our president. Pretty much, Paul Peterson is looking to slow down and retire, and he's handing it off. And we have a wonderful group of child actors that have come together that are, leading this, and it's to get child labor laws in the entertainment industry set in place where it's fair, because we have so many kids being mistreated and overworked and underpaid, and there's just so many horror stories with the laws and how lax they are in certain areas, and we're trying to change that through this organization. It's a wonderful cause. Donations are always accepted at the website, aminorconsideration.org, and we have this great event where you can meet and greet and get autographs and meet child stars from then and now. So it's exciting, and we're really looking forward to that. And that's going to be July 20th and 21st at the Hollywood Museum in Los Angeles, California.
That's amazing.
All the information is on the website. So
awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who else can? You mentioned some of the child stars.
We have Jeremy Miller from Growing Pains, who I work with.
He was the star, right?
No, he played Ben Seaver. He was a star on the show.
He was one of the main.
Yeah, Kirk Cameron was known as the star, but Jeremy Miller was a star as well.
Okay.
But he played Ben.
He had the blonde hair.
The little brother, yeah.
Yeah.
The little brother.
Okay, cool.
And we have Ellen Latson. She was in the movie Fatal Attraction when she was a little girl. We have Leanne Curtis, who's Molly Ringwald's best friend in 16 Candles. And we have Allison Ingram. I hope I said her name right. I always mispronounce it. But she's wonderful, and she's part of our team leadership as well. She's amazing, and she's played Nellie Olson on Little House on the Prairie. We also have Rachel Lindsay Greenbush, who played Carrie on Little House on the Prairie. So we have a bunch of child stars. It's really fun. It's going to be an amazing event, and a lot of people are going to turn out. And we have Keith Coogan, too. Keith Coogan did Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And people love that movie, so I had to bring that up.
I remember that.
Yeah, we've got a really great group of people, and we're really excited about it. So if you're in LA or going to be in the area or want to fly out for the event, it's a great event. July 20th, 21st, once again, Hollywood Museum, and all the details are at minorconsideration.org, and all the proceeds are going towards this organization to help kids and the laws be on their side, and that's what we're fighting for.
Awesome.
It's exciting. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Such an important cause.
It's very important.
I'm so glad to see that there's more awareness around this
cause.
It's
really important. Yes. We also have Sarah Monahan. I have to mention her. She was a actress from Australia, and she did a show called Hey Dad, and she actually is part of our leadership team too, and she is perfect because she actually, I'm not going to tell you her experiences, but she had some things that she had to go through that children should not have to go through in the industry, and we're really proud of her triumph in all that, and it's just so amazing to see how she's come out of it, and she's now helping lead our team as well, and she's really great to have her. We just love her, and I love amazing. Having all these people, work together on this cause. It's amazing.
Oh wow! It sounds like it's going to be an amazing event, and
we're
such a
really
good
excited.
cause.
Yeah. So come on down and see us. We'll be there.
Great.
Yeah.
And then tell us once again how people can get in touch with you through your website or social media.
Yes, you can go to nylaactors.com. There's my email, my phone number. If you have any questions or want to take a class or anything, just give me a call. I'll be happy to talk to anyone. I'm open to hearing what you have to say and hearing what you need to talk about. So, yeah. Happy to help in any way I can.
Well, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Cynthia. This is my my best kept secret with Cynthia. People ask me all the time, how do you break into the industry, and bombard me with these questions.
Right. We should have a question and answer session if people want to call in and ask. I mean, I'd love to field questions on this because I would like to get people's experiences. Tell me what they've gone through, and we can kind of guide them through that. Because
right. So I'm always telling people, I've learned so much from the people who have coached and mentored me that what better guest would be on the Samantha Sato show to share with all my followers.
Well, to be here is
someone
my
who
pleasure.
taught me so much.
It's my pleasure to be here. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you everyone who listened in to this episode, and thank you again to Cynthia. You'll be back on the show.
Oh, I'd love to come back.
I know you'll be back on the show. You'll be back.
Yes, would love to.
And we want to get an update on the event and how that was.
Yes, yes, that'd be great.
Great. So if you guys have any comments about this week's episode or just want to chat with me, be social and find me on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and SoundCloud at Samantha Sato.